Bob Newhart, the name practically whispers comedy. He wasn't loud or brash, but his timing, his pauses, they were legendary. Sadly, Bob passed away recently at the age of 91. It's hard to imagine a world without his gentle humor, his ability to find the funny in everyday life. He made us laugh for over 6 decades, a career spanning stand-up television, even a Grammy Award-winning comedy album in the early days. But Bob Newhart was more than just jokes. He represented a certain kind of American humor, one rooted in observation, in the absurdity we often find ourselves in. He never needed to resort to cheap gags or insults. He simply held a mirror up to our lives and let us chuckle at the reflection. His legacy is one of masterful comedic timing and an ability to connect with audiences of all generations. Of course, you can't talk about Bob Newhart without mentioning his iconic television shows. The Bob Newhart Show, running through the 1970s, introduced us to Bob Hartley, the dry-witted psychologist navigating the ups and downs of both his patients and his own quirky marriage. It was a different kind of sitcom for its time, character-driven, witty dialogue, and Bob's unique style shining through. And who can forget Newhart? This time, Bob played Dick Loudon, a writer who, along with his wife, buys an inn in Vermont. The show was filled with eccentric characters, from the Handyman brothers to the clueless George Utley. And of course, it ended with one of the most iconic series finales in television history, revealing that the entire Newhart run was just a dream Bob Hartley was having. Pure genius. What I admire most about Bob Newhart is that he never stopped working, never stopped evolving. In his 80s, he won his first Primetime Emmy Award for a guest appearance on The Big Bang Theory. He played Professor Proton, a former children's science show host, and his scenes with the cast, particularly Jim Parsons, were comedic gold. He even reprised the role on the spin-off Young Sheldon, proving that his humor transcended generations. To see him embraced by younger audiences, still sharp as ever, was truly remarkable. It showed that true comedic talent never fades, it simply finds new ways to shine. Section 4. The button-down philosopher Newhart's stand-up roots. Before he was a television star, Bob Newhart was a stand-up comedian. His early albums, like The Button-Down Mind and The Button-Down Mind Strikes Back, were groundbreaking. He didn't tell jokes in the traditional sense. Instead, he engaged in one-sided conversations, often on the phone, his voice calm and measured as the absurdity of the situation unfolded. He found humor in the mundane and everyday conversations, in the anxieties of modern life. He was the original deadpan comedian, his delivery dry as a bone, his timing impeccable. Those early albums weren't just funny, they were innovative, influencing generations of comedians who followed in his footsteps. Section 5. The Art of the Deadpan. Newhart's enduring comic style. Bob Newhart's comedy wasn't about punchlines or physical gags. It was about the pause, the stammer, the look of bewilderment on his face. He mastered the art of the slow burn, letting the humor build gradually until it reached a hilarious crescendo. His characters were often the straight man surrounded by chaos, reacting with a mixture of amusement and exasperation. He once said, "The best comedy is based on truth." And that was the key to his success. He found the funny in the ordinary, in the everyday anxieties and awkwardness that we all experience. He reminded us that life, even at its most frustrating, can also be incredibly funny. Section 6. Beyond the small screen, Newhart's film and television legacy. Bob Newhart's career wasn't just limited to his own shows. He appeared in numerous films, including Catch-22, In and Out, and Elf. He lent his distinctive voice to animated projects like The Simpsons and The Incredibles. He was a constant presence on television, popping up on talk shows, game shows, even commercials. He was a comedian's comedian, admired by his peers for his talent, his professionalism, and his kindness. Jerry Seinfeld once said, "Nobody makes me laugh harder than Bob Newhart." And that, I think, is the ultimate compliment. He made us laugh, he made us think, and he left behind a legacy of comedic brilliance that will continue to inspire generations to come.